Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Emerald here on Definitely Not Mr. Sandman. I'm Agoro.
And I'm Eric's.
And
that's a trainer.
Yes indeed. We left off last time on our way to the next city, but we wound up hitting our time limit just short of the objective.
Ooh, this is going to be an unfortunate battle. It's a double battle and we have one Pokemon with mostly decent health. Unless I'm forgetting something. No,
we did catch the Shroomish, though we don't intend
we did
to
catch
keep
the
it.
Shroomish, but we caught it for the memes for the most part. Unless it proves to be a good member of the team. If it proves to be a good member of the team, I am all for keeping it around. Having absorbed this early in the game already makes it useful. Just wish we weren't fighting grass types right now.
Yeah, that's why I picked to use Absorb on the Lotad though, being part water. It at least does more damage than it would on the Seedot.
Nullifies the resistance the grass has.
Also, I had an amusing thought about the names of our two team members after we stopped recording last. See, we have Bubble Man, named after the other Let's Play we're doing at the same time, and then we have Harvey Face, named after the College Humor Batman joke. However, that Harvey Face comes from Harvey Dent, which is Two-Face, a villain of Batman. Elemental Hero Bubble Man is based on Batman.
You know, I hadn't thought about that. Huh. I guess really everything is connected. It's a small, hardly existent world. And Shroomish leveled up. Nice. That was a lot easier of a battle than I thought it was going to be. I forgot how overpowered Bubble Man was already.
Indeed, because we didn't have a second team member until we were nearing the end of the forest.
And even then, those team members came in with low health, so I mean, it's not like there was much backup for the Bubble Man.
That's very fair.
This would be a good chance to give Shroomish some experience, though.
That is true.
Being probably all Magikarps, and Magikarps being almost nothing, Absorb would be able to take care of them pretty quickly. Honestly, when you think about Breloom, there's a lot of things you could think, including my Unlimited 2. Oh god, what is this? But,
I always have two words that pop into my mind when I think of Breloom. Mach and Punch.
Breloom does have some good punch moves under its arsenal. Mach Punch being, well, possibly its best. The issue is getting it to evolve. It takes a while, and Shroomish doesn't learn very many useful moves until it's ready to evolve. It's proving me wrong very quickly.
Yeah, I will likely be holding on to that stun spore for the duration of the game, because I enjoy paralyzing Pokemon I intend to capture.
Especially the Pokemon that run away, making them easier to catch. And since those Pokemon don't lose that paralysis, even if they flee, we'll only have to use it once, so long as we go before they do.
Which is the tricky part.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing, though, the addition of Wandering Legends. It, really added something different to the game.
Yeah, frankly, I am the type who gets very fed up with Wandering Legends quickly, unless I'm playing Platinum. Where, despite there being 5, I feel like I usually have it under control, with a Gengar and standing in certain places and just crossing that borderline and checking my Poketch.
Yeah, I don't usually do that, me personally, but that's mostly because I don't actively seek out the Wandering Legends unless I have nothing else to do. But that's me.
See, I don't consider it a real playthrough of a Pokemon game unless I catch every possible legend.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't...
Because of that, that means I do spend a lot of time going after Cresselia, Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, and Mesprit in Pokemon Platinum.
Yeah. I don't actively search for them until I've got at least one of every other Pokemon, which takes a while. That doesn't mean that I don't just run into them, though. It's very easy to run into them if you just happen to go to the right route. The issue is accidentally going to the right route so many times in a row.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, we've now arrived in Rustboro City, which is the 4th town in the game, but the town of the first Pokemon gym that we will actually be able to challenge.
And if I'm not mistaken, Rustboro gym leader is Roxanne, sorry. If you can't tell from her name, user of Rock-type Pokemon, we should have an easy time with this.
Between Shroomish and Bubbleman? Most definitely.
Harvey Face will have a bit of a tough time here, if he has to go into battle at all. Being a flying type, he's kind of weak to the rocks, but honestly, I'm not even sure if we're going to need him this fight.
We shouldn't, unless we get unlucky. That's what I was worried about.
None of them are able to yet.
I was worried that was going to be the case, but that's fine. We can catch a Nincada or something to use it until we have a team member who can.
That's right, Nincada is on the next route up, directly north of town.
North and to the east. Directly north leads to the base of Meteor Falls, a place I wish we could get into this early.
Yeah. Unfortunately, however, we had to wait.
Anyhow, I know most gyms leave it possible to skip most, if not all, of their gym trainers, but after the gym is completed, you cannot go back and battle them for experience. So as such...
Get experience beforehand.
Yep. And since Harvey Face isn't useful here, I'm going to be switch training him through this.
Getting him experience, but keeping him out of the major fray, which keeps him, hopefully, alive.
I'm still on the fence about having Shroomish be the 6th member, or I'd be using this chance to level him up.
I'm also on the fence about having a Breloom on our final team, but for a temporary filler, he's going to be useful.
Anyhow, as of recording this, our first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy has recently gone live, and the first episode of Pokemon Emerald will be going live in about an hour.
Having said that, we hope you're enjoying them. Personally, I feel like we had fun recording them. The only issue with what happened is that we wound up getting tired after a little while. Those shouldn't show in the first episodes of either of these series, but it all just hit us at once. The whole day's worth of activities.
Yeah, the second episode of Emerald, we were probably a little quieter than we had been, and that would be 100% the reason why.
It's unfortunate that we were quieter. There were things running through my head that we could talk about, and things that were interesting about this game and just, you know, the generation in general, but I just didn't have the time to bring them up.
Having said that, one thing that I mentioned in one of our recent episodes is that I had an Elgato on the way, so I'd be able to record some of my consoles. As of this morning, that has officially arrived.
So we're going to be able to expand the arsenal of what we record starting today, honestly.
Yep.
So I feel like any comments for games that aren't Game Boy games are now officially full force on the table.
Yep. So if anyone has anything at all they would like to see recorded, feel free to leave a comment or reach out on Twitter and let us know what you would like. While we likely won't get to it immediately, once we have an open slot between series that we would like to fill, we we'll use that time to definitely dive into any suggestions that you might have.
We're really excited to see what suggestions await us as well.
Yep, we each have plenty of games we have played, but we also have a bit of a comfort zone with certain types of games. So, we're hoping that by having suggestions from fans, we will be able to expand our own reach when it comes to what we play.
As well as get a bit more variety for the channel as to what gets shown. Be it our own channels personally, or this collaborative channel of Sandman. Regardless, we very much want to have the opportunity to expand what gets shown. No one likes watching the same thing constantly. Granted, as long as it's done well, anything's entertaining.
Indeed.
I'd like to think that we are some fairly funny individuals.
Even if that's not quite showing yet, since we're still new to this.
Now then, with Bubbleman being our lead Pokemon here, we should be relatively okay, so long as Roxanne doesn't pull any surprises on us.
Yeah.
If she does, we have Absorb.
I wasn't quite brave enough to face her down with Harvey Face in the lead.
I don't blame you at all. There goes Geodude, no Sturdy, so that's a good sign for us so far.
I believe in Gen 3 here, Sturdy was actually slightly different. It instead protected them from moves that were one-hit KOs by effect and not by damage.
Oh. I actually didn't know that.
I could be
Don't
wrong, but I
usually
believe that being a fact. Or I remember that being a fact.
I don't really remember ever having to face Sturdy, so you could be correct. And I know I never used it. I'm not the biggest fan of rock types. Unless we're talking about Aggron, but then most things won't one-hit Aggron anyway.
Unless it's fighting type.
Unless it's fighting type. In which case, we're sad.
Nowadays, there's the option of Mega Aggron, which drops the rock type, meaning he actually takes less damage from fighting type moves. However, that means things like Steel are going to, or Fire are going to do super effective damage instead of neutral.
It also gets rid of his same type attack bonus for rock type moves, which is very unfortunate for things like, well, Rock Throw.
True, but that's where you have things like Iron Head to come into play. And even without stab, some of those rock moves are still pretty useful.
Oh, definitely. Especially against flying type Pokemon. Roxanne is being annoying.
Yeah, I didn't know she was an alchemist with all those potions.
And that tackle should seal the deal. Yep. There's our first gym badge. First one for the channel. Bubbleman's at level 16. If I'm not mistaken, 16 is where Mudkip evolves.
I believe so. Trainers that defeat her or any gym leader are to be given a gym badge. We also receive quite a large payout, but most importantly,
Bubbleman is evolving.
into a bubble lad, and then finally a bubble child.
Ah,
Benjamin Bubbleton.
go away.
I
Just
can't
leave.
quite do that. I'm the one playing, and
Just leave.
this is my apartment.
Alright, you know what? That's fair. Goodbye.
Okay, so Eric says bowed out, which means Sandman is now my personal channel.
That would be very unfortunate. Mudshot, definitely a good replacement for Growl, seeing as it lowers accuracy instead of lowering attack. I'm thinking the right move, right?
Honestly, I can't remember with a lot of the low-level ground type moves.
I feel like Mudshot is like a damaging version of Sand Attack. I've been wrong before. I don't usually use Mudkip.
Because I'm pretty sure there's one that does accuracy and another one that does speed that's very similar. And I don't know which is which. This is the speed one.
What is Mud Slap? accuracy. So we have both of them already.
Like I said,
That's
I'm pretty
fine.
sure there's one for each.
That's fine. Gives a good save just in case something goes wrong.
Which will show off the one badge that we have on the save screen.
As well as the 4 in the Pokedex. With all 3 of the Pokemon we have, and all 2 of them we've caught.
And all 1 that was given to us.
Yep. Now,
And all 0 in the PC.
there it goes. The next event to happen. The stealing of goods.
As Team Aqua Grunt runs out and is chased by the same researcher we helped before.
Now then.
Time-saving tunnel.
There's a big X on it though. Somebody doesn't like this tunnel. I like this tunnel. This tunnel is where we can get Whismur.
Indeed it is, which is another Pokemon I would consider for that 6 Pokemon slot.
Whismur being very weak normally, but becoming very useful once it becomes an Exploud.
Indeed. One of the better normal type Pokemon that this region has to offer.
Which, honestly, most of the Pokemon added in Generation 3 were just genuinely good Pokemon. String Shot's gonna lower her speed. The
Even
flying
with
type
slightly
made it
lowered
not
speed, a bird is still usually faster than the worm.
bad. And now, even more so, as we get Harvey Face to level 10.
Now we have Nincada, a Pokemon that we may spend some time to look for here, because it, in fact, can learn Cut. And now that we have our first gym badge, we can use Cut to take down some small trees that would block our way to new areas.
Not to mention the fact that if we remember how to do it correctly, we could get a, is it Shedinja or Ninjask? Which one is the evolution and which one of them is the shell?
Ninjask is the evolved form. Shedinja is technically also an evolved form, but it's what's left behind when Nincada evolves. As long as you have an open slot when your Nincada hits level 20, you will get both of the Pokemon.
Which is very interesting, seeing as Shedinja, at least more recently, has become a very, very powerful Pokemon, just in general.
With its unique ability Wonder Guard, which makes sure it can only receive hits from attacks that are super effective.
Which just completely eliminates most worries.
The trade-off, though, is that Shedinja only has 1 HP.
Yeah, it's really low health. However, if you can get an item such as a Focus Sash to prevent it from being knocked out by leaving it at 1 HP, you should be relatively okay.
See, aside from bug types, flying types like Hargreaves here are also great for handling these fighting types. Which means I figured this would be another great place to level them up real quick.
Indeed. Fighting types being one of the higher physical attack type. I said that wrong.
Hargreaves, what are you doing over there?
One of the higher physical stat types. One would imagine that most Pokemon would have an issue with facing them, but this is where the love for flying and ghost type Pokemon come from.
Well, the trader has been dealt with, and Hargreaves grew to level 12 after facing his demons. Having faced all the trainers in that little loop, we can now move on to this.
Do you remember what level Tailo evolves at?
Mid-20s, early 20s, I want to say. Could be
I
wrong.
want to say it's somewhere around level 20. Being unsure. We're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Okay. Indeed, it shouldn't be too long. I'd say I'd say around the time we finish with Brawly, the second gym leader, Harvey Face will have earned an evolution. If we're correct about the level.
If we can get there beforehand, Swallow would be amazing against Brawly.
Sorry about that, we were trying to extricate the cats from our recording area.
Alright, cats are gone.
And so is the trainer.
Oh, I missed it. Another Tailo. Ah, this would be a perfect time for a Cherry Berry.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to allow Bubble Man to handle this, and then I'm going to go to the Pokemon Center to heal, because I just realized I hadn't done so after the gym battle.
You know, it's a good idea to always heal up before going to a new route. Why didn't we?
I think I was too caught up in continuing the story.
Fair enough, I can accept this. At least it's not a Nuzlocke. Poochyena, actually fairly decent early on. Later on, it becomes very, very less useful.
Yeah, I'd say it can hold its own until around 6-ish gyms in. Using it in the 6th gym battle is very helpful.
Oh yeah.
Is it 6? Or is that 7? 7. The 7th gym battle is very helpful.
I was trying to think of what you were thinking of, and then I remembered.
Tate and Eliza.
As a dark type, Mightyena is very useful against psychic types, as psychic type weaknesses all equate to one of the biggest fears of most people: ghosts, bugs, and darkness. Another Whismur.
On top of that, Dark has the exclusive ability of being immune to psychic type attacks.
Which makes it very useful.
Combined with the ability that Mightyena gets, Intimidate, to lower the attack stat of an opponent. And that makes it pretty useful for a fair chunk of the game.
Though, once we get to the gym after Tate and Eliza, all bets are off.
It's the biggest reason I'm considering that Shroomish.
Honestly, yeah.
Normally I'd run from these encounters, but since Harvey Face and the Shroomish are much lower level than Bubble Man, I'm using the wild encounters to get them the experience they need to stand up to our overpowered comrade.
Double battle in the making. Hopefully, Shroomish will be able to hold his own alongside Harvey Face. Oh.
I didn't wait for the dude to turn.
Well, that's fine. Harvey Face will still get the experience.
Traitor!
And as long as the other trainer doesn't turn as soon as we're finished with this battle, we should be able to switch Harvey Face and Shroomish out to get Shroomish some experience as well. Poisoning, always a nuisance. At least it's not a burn.
It's especially a nuisance in these older generations, though.
Very true.
Wing attack.
Very useful.
Yes, 60 power as opposed to the 35 that Peck had, while maintaining the same amount of PP, meaning the same number of uses.
Almost double the power, with the same amount of uses, and the same type effectiveness bonus.
And stab bonus.
This is going to be a very useful move. I'd say one of the best flying type moves at this point.
Oh. Excluding Fly itself, yeah.
The only issue I have with Fly is the fact that its accuracy is a bit lower. Not too much, but with my luck, it usually winds up missing anyway. There it is.
I hit start, but not quite fast enough to open the menu.
Well, that's alright. We can get Harvey Face some more. And then once we're done with Harvey Face and this battle, so long as he doesn't think, there we go, we should be able to get Shroomish some experience. If we can get Shroomish a fighting type move, this would be a great place to train.
Grass type moves are still very effective here.
I mean the area in general. The Whismers and the Mighty Annas are weak to fighting.
That's true.
Sorry, Poochyinnas, not Mighty Annas. Mighty Annas would be a bit threatening at this point.
Yeah, a little intimidating.
Pun definitely intended.
But of course.
Now then, the next one over there seems to also be a hiker, which means we can expect rock and or fighting types. I know quite a few hikers typically have Machop, which I don't understand.
Because they have to be muscular to climb mountains.
There's Geodude. Quick Absorb should take it out.
And upon beating this Geodude, Shroomish should reach level 10.
No out. Leech Seed, one of my favorite moves in the entirety of Pokemon.
Strangely enough, one of my least favorites, despite my love of grass types.
It's all about preference.
Just like the last one, this Geodude can't stand up to Absorb at all. And offers Shroomish plenty of experience, having reached level 11 already.
That was fast.
That was fast indeed.
A good reason to battle every trainer you come across. They have a higher experience yield than wild Pokemon, and usually aren't too much harder to deal with.
So this guy here was digging in the tunnel despite the big X across the opening soon. Curious. Oh, and they captured someone named Pico.
The thing going on with the screen, by the way, since Harvey Face is poisoned, every few steps he's actually taking 1 point of damage.
Which is what the Flash is.
There was an old theory at one point that a Pokemon surviving its poisoning while outside of battle would get the mysterious virus Pokerus, which increases the trainability of the Pokemon. That was disproven, and it has been shown now that it is completely random chance.
I'm out of water, so between episodes I'm going to have to get a refill.
And I'm going to have to get a Phil Coulson. Whismur using Uproar, which I believe made its first appearance in this generation with its line.
Potentially, I don't remember.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing it in a second generation game, and I know it didn't exist in first generation.
I do know I associate it with Whismur, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily its first appearance. It might be.
I usually associate it with Whismur and Chatot. That's about it. Chatot, by the way, great Pokemon, great idea, terrible cry.
He steps one step back menacingly when I'm still like 6 away. It's meant to intimidate me somehow, but it gives me the feeling that he's the one who's scared.
It gives me the feeling that this grown man shouldn't be committing crime.
He's taking a hostage to hide from a 10-year-old, and it still doesn't even work.
Now then, Team Aqua, obviously from the name of the team, use dark types. Which is a theme for all bad teams throughout all of Pokemon. I believe there's a point where they use more water types than dark types, though, isn't there? I know that their leader prefers Sharpedo, the dark water type.
Yes.
It always confused me why both Team Aqua and Team Magma use dark types.
Well, it's because dark is supposed to represent evil, so that's why the evil teams tend to stick with that and the underhanded move of poisoning things.
While that's fair, I still would prefer if they used more fire and water types, respectively.
Well, this region doesn't have a whole lot of fire types. Too much water.
Yeah, too much water.
Fire types, they'd essentially be limited to using Slugma, which returns from the second generation, and Camerupt.
Fair. Magmar. Returning from the first generation.
Is Magmar available here?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying it was an option.
I don't think Magmar is available in this region.
Not yet, anyway. It might be a post-game, but I'm pretty sure at some point it does become available. Again, we've been wrong before, both of us.
Ah, so this is the mysterious Mr. Briney who owns that abandoned house.
How dare he own an abandoned house in my neighborhood? How dare he own a house?
For those who are wondering, if you attempt to go deeper into the cave, you face these rocks that you are unable to get past.
Yet.
Now, before venturing away from this area, we need a Pokemon that can use the move Cut. So,
let's catch an Abra.
Huh. I was going to say, so we will run around in this tall grass until we find one between episodes. But, might as well record this Abra encounter, which I'm not going to capture because you'll most likely fail.
That's very fair.
And Abra will then use Teleport to flee from battle. Anyhow, to find out what happens next, you'll have to tune in next time, guys. And in the meantime, we're going to work on catching something that can use the move Cut in this area. Hope you've been enjoying. If you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, have a wonderful night, and see you next time. Bye!